Hey, hello, well, look, it's the show. It started. Yes, I was just noticing someone in the chat was saying, hey, wait, it's happening now. And it really is. Hello, Eclab. They just checked on our show times, and it appears that this one's right now. This is this. Hi, it's me. It's John Park. This is JP's product pick of the week. So if that's where you were wanting to be, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining us. Like I mentioned, we've got our Discord chat there. So if you're looking for a place to hang out and chat and say hey, that's a good one to do it on. So head on over to adafruit.it/discord. You can instantly join our Discord server, and then you're going to want to look for this live broadcast chat channel right there. We have a bunch of different channels. That's the one that's most active during shows. So hello, thank you for joining us as well over in our YouTube chat. We got Dave Odessa over there, Tackle the World. Eclab exists there as well. Hey, awesome. Hi, Thin Man. Hello to Jim Hendrickson, Squid.jpg, Paul Cutler. Thanks for stopping by. So what happens here? This is the show where I show you some cool new product or sometimes some cool older product and give you a big, massive discount on it so that you can get some or a whole bunch, up to 10 of the product. And this is one of those weird episodes where we've got multiple. We don't have one, not two, not three, but 4 product picks that are highly related. You will be able to get to one of them with that URL right there or that QR code. And then you'll see the other 3 listed there. What is it? Why is he being so mysterious about it? Well, as is custom, I like to have Lady Ada tell us about it in her new segment. So please take it away, Lady Ada.
First one is this swirly grid. This is something that Scott and Jepler kind of were chit-chatting about. Jepler designed the OpenSCAD version that was 3D printed, and then Scott came in and was like, ooh, this could be made out of PCB material. Or maybe I said, I don't know, and he made it in KiCad or KiCad. And I posted in the product link, you can see the script. If you want to generate your own and manufacture them, go to town. This is an aluminum-backed PCB, and it's got this grid on 0.2-inch spacing, and each hole is it's 0.2-inch spacing between things, and the holes themselves are a little bit more than 0.1 inch in diameter. So the dashes are like 0.11 inch and the holes are 0.1 inch diameter. And by having this, instead of just having like pegboard dots, it means that you can handle components that aren't exactly on 0.2 inch gridding, because our feathers, for example, are 0.9 by 2 inches, and a lot of our stomach QT boards are 0.7 by 1 inch. So you see, it's like they're on a 0.1 inch grid, but they're not on a 0.2 inch grid. Or maybe you have other dev boards that you want to plug in. So what's nice is that because you can slide the components around, there's always going to be some place that you can connect the components. The only thing is, that demo is still at the office. So
and also there's numbers, because you can just specify where to put a specific product. Do you want to just hold that underneath the overhead real fast?
Yeah, I can hold it. I can also go and
grab.
No, I mean, you can see, like, if you wanted to mount this, you could find, like, okay, maybe like this hole and that hole would match, or like this hole, and so you would go for these 2 slots, and so you could mount it that way.
Like cyberdeck thing with all this too.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. So there's always like some combination of like forward, up, down slots.
You could weave nudes through the holes too.
That's true.
You can do all sorts.
But it was designed for feathers and stomach QT specifically, because Scott was like, "Oh, I'm trying to build these projects."
Stacky we call them stackies, where if you order these, maybe pick up rubber feet. If you want to put it on.
And I recommend. I will say we have these M2.5 nylon screw sets. So M2.5 is 2.5 millimeters, which means it'll fit very nicely in the 0.1 inch holes and slots. And they're nylon, so they're non-conductive. So these standoffs are a great pairing because you can use that to keep your boards off of the aluminum backing. Because remember, this aluminum backing is conductive, but it's also nice because you can cut it, you can bend it, you can file it very easily. Would not do that with the FR4. Or you can also use it as a ground plane, if you so wish. Next up, more swirly grids. Scott loves these. He designed some more for me. This is a 2x10. This is a 5x5, and then we have the biggest 10x10 size. But we have various sizes. You know, it's basically each block is 0.6 inches. So it's either 6 inch by 6 inch, 3 inch by 3 inch, or 1.2 by 6 inch. Maybe I'll hold them up.
Yeah.
So this is the 10x10. And somebody asked, I think, like last week, why are these aluminum and not PCB? I think that like FR4. First off, these are a lot easier to machine. You could drill and cut them, and you shouldn't be doing that with FR4 because you're going to get fiberglass dust. Whereas this is just aluminum, so there's a lot of tools that can handle cutting, drilling, filing, bending aluminum. Also, it's not too bad to have it be conductive. You know, you might want a gigantic ground plane, say, but definitely easier to machine and work with. So I think for roboticists, this will be handy. You could also bend these, which I could see, you know, if you have a break, you could use this to make cuts and bends and to turn these into different shapes. So this is the 5x5 grid. So this is 3 inches by 3 inches. We also already have the 5x10, which is 3x6 inches, and then this one is 6x6. Of course, you can take this and you can cut this, and you know you have a hacksaw, cut it down. But probably more convenient just to get the size that you need. And then finally, I kind of like this ruler-ish size. And what's nice is, you know, you've got the mounting holes and mounting slots every 0.2 inches, and the slots go 0.3 inches. And so, you know, as long as you don't mind not having all 4 points connected, you can pretty much connect anything that you want onto this grid. I mean, I think like it's got enough motion in each direction. And then we've got some demo images maybe you could show. So, you know, I expect people will probably use this with stuff like STEM IQT and feather boards. You just do opposite corners, and then you can mount them easily for a nice semi-permanent. Yeah, use nylon standoffs. Now you've got a semi-permanent setup. Nice and durable, but configurable.
Yes, indeed, they are. They are nice and durable and configurable. What are they? Well, look, I've got so many of them right here. I'll hold them the silver side out. It's actually a little easier to see. I have the full set here, except for one of them is kind of buried in a project. But these, can I show the other one? Nah, I'll dig it out in a second. These are my product picks of the week this week. They are the aluminum swirly mounting grids. So these are fantastic for mounting your microcontroller dev boards, your sensors, your STEMMA QT things, your STEMMA stuff, your NeoPixel boards, what have you, all onto a neat sort of modular grid system. I'm going to go to an overhead here. Here you can see a little closer what they look like. And these have holes all over the place, as you can see, as well as slots. The slots are great because those buy you out of problem spots when the things you want to mount aren't on a perfect grid. I'll show you some examples of that in a second. Let's see. This one here, for example, you can see this is one of these itsy bitsy carrier boards from Cedar Grove Maker. And this has, let me see if I can find a good way to show you. I'm going to pop open another view. Hey, look, it's little me. These are, as you can see, not going to fit that grid right there, but if we slide over so that we're in the horizontal spacing they do, this one, oh no, now it's not quite on there. It's okay. We can do things like go diagonal. You will find usually 3 or 4. You only really need 2 for most things. And what I'll do sometimes is put 4 of these standoffs so that I get some mechanical stability, but then I will just simply screw into the 2 points that are easy to get to. So that works really well. And let me show you, I'm going to show you some web pages for this as well as the Learn guides that have used this in projects, and then I'll show you a few of the projects that I have laying around. I love these things. These were, as Limor said, something that Scott and Jepler came up with. Limor said Scott loves them. I love them. I really do. I use these all over the place. He can love them too. There's enough love to go around. So here you can see these are 4 different product picks. So we've got product 5780, which is the 10 by 2, this little ruler-shaped sized one, as Limor mentioned. In fact, I have one of those right now. It controls the LED strip, little NeoPixel strip I have back there. Has a feather on there, and or it's a cutie pie, I think, and a breakout. I'll show you too, things like cutie pie that don't have mounting holes, there are ways. So bear with me, and I'll show you some more of these little tips and tricks. So we've got the 10 by 2, which is half price, $1.98. We have the 5 by 5, which it looks like we sold through on that one. I think we only had about 25 of those, so they went quick. But that's this guy right here, little 5 by 5, really nice, convenient size. We have the 10 by 5. I have that one buried in a project, so I'll show you that one up close on the overhead in a moment. Let me get rid of the mini version of me. This one right now is $2.48 instead of $4.95, so nice deal there. And then we have this big one I've been showing you here, the 10 by 10. Now you can, as Limor said, get some tin snips or a brake to bend them, tin snips to cut them. You can score it with a ruler and an X-Acto and bend it until it pops off if you need to. You just want to file it. But it's easy to work with. It's pretty thin, workable aluminum. You can also drill it. So if you have something you want to add to it, you could drill a hole, pretty straightforward, or even just use a one of these. Where's mine? I've got one of these little hole awls. I forget what you call these at the moment, but it's a fluted, tapered thingamajig. Go in, start twisting until you get to the diameter of hole you want. That's another nice way to work with that. And we've got some learn guides. So if you take a look at this one right here, this one was my ambient sound machine I made last year. And as you can see, I had a lot of wiring, quite a few components. And here is a shot of how all those components stayed in one place. I think I wanted to keep it somewhat modular, and so I've got some jumper cables plugged just right into a Metro there. But you can see we've got all the breakout boards. A couple of them are on that diagonal because that was the easiest way to get them to fit. So you can always find a way. And then it's easy to mount these boards themselves inside of other enclosures. So if you just mark and drill a couple holes, you can make a little mount for your board for the Swirly grid inside of something like a cigar box here, and then add your components and maybe drill out holes for knobs and switches and LEDs and displays and things like that. So they're really nice. They really add that one sort of missing component to how am I going to hook all this stuff together. I don't always want to take the time to design a custom thing to 3D print or mill or laser cut, fabricate in some other way. These are a really good way to just get stuff from sliding all around, right? That was one of Scott's original requests, right? So here you can see I've got an example of something I had shown on. Let me go to let's go to the overhead for this. So you can see I had a feather and a little rotary encoder breakout, and this is a feather that's on CAN bus, so I wanted to secure some wiring on there. I just had a big chunk of Cat5 cable. So you're not limited to these nylon standoffs. You can also use zip ties. They're great. Zip tie everything on there. If you don't need the standoff, that'll work really well for a lot of cases. You can put some rubber feet underneath a board like a Metro and then zip tie it right onto there if you want. You don't have to use screws. So that was a use I had for the 5x5. You may remember just a few weeks ago I put out this learn guide for, I'm going to zoom out a bit here, the Servo Boss. Try to get the good focus on there. So there's this Servo Boss. I've got a Perma Proto on there. I've got a little buried battery under there. I have a larger battery pack just zip tied onto there, and then I have the Servo pan tilt fixture there screwed into place. And that one is actually with M2 screws. Those will work as well if you can, if you have something a little smaller that needs to go on there, that'll work. So that was the bigger 10 by 10. And here's the, I mentioned I only have one of these nice little 10 by 5s right now, but I just built this sort of prop thing, minimalist cyber deck. I don't know what it is. It's just a feather with an I Spy breakout doing a little GIF playback on a display, a little TFT display there. And then I've got one of our, very bright, one of our Neo key breakouts there using Stemma QT I2C. A little battery hidden underneath. And I didn't secure it to this, but you could secure it either to just the rubber liner in here, or with some adhesive, or screw it through if you needed to, and if you didn't need it to be waterproof. But that was just a nice little fit in one of these Pelican 1040 cases. Almost perfect fit, gives you a little bit of room there, but you can build up a snazzy little project. Looks high tech, looks like a prop from a movie that's meant to do something vaguely threatening, I guess. So that was the 10 by 5 there, really nice size. You can see I've got a feather breakout, feather tripler breakout on there as well. And then the last one I wanted to show you, so this right here, I'm going to plug this in first. So this is a little Hammond enclosure. It's one of their smaller sort of stomp box enclosures. And you can see I've got my little tiny LED breakout boards that I put together for doing some Lego lighting. You can see I've got like a little Lego lightsaber there with some of these tiny LEDs. This is, I've just got one screw on here. Normally you'll have 4 screws on there. So I could get it open quickly. This is a, ta-da, 10 by 2 that I bent. So I just put this into a vise and bent it over, bent it over a couple times to make this sort of U shape. And you can see it's mounted to the case with just this one standoff. You could screw more holes, make more holes, or use an adhesive there. So that's in the lid of the case. There's some space in there. Of course, you could add, if you wanted this to be battery powered or something like that, you could add some more components in there. But what I have is one of our AW9523 PWM drivers there, driving a few of these little LEDs. And then I've got a Cutie Pie with its little USB port facing out. And I simply put heat shrink around the Cutie Pie. Cutie Pie doesn't have any mounting holes on it, so I just put some heat shrink around it. I can actually still click the boot button, believe it or not. And then I used some more clear heat shrink to connect it to the board. So that's not going anywhere, and it's stable enough to, once I thread that in there, you can see I have a really messy hole that I made there. I can, let me pull these wires all the way through. I can connect that in there and then plug in USB, and that'll light up my LEDs. So this is again, one of these cases where you go, hey, I've got a neat enclosure. How am I get my stuff in there safely, securely? I don't want it bumping around. I don't want it to short out on things. I think this is a really nice, neat solution, and that was simply one of these 10 by 2, or yeah, 10 by 2 swirly grids, just folded until it fit the available space, which gave me that nice lift off of the board. You could also just cut it if you needed to for a different type of use case. So there you go. There's a few uses there. And then I also have in the Learn Guides another case, which is, oh, this one right here I showed you before, the Servo Boss. So there you can see it's reusable, right? You could unscrew these components from here, snip those zip ties, and it'll be ready for your next project. And here's another case where you can see a Metro or Arduino size board fits on the little 5x5 pretty nicely, and then gives me some space to add more breakouts. This was for an analog switch, audio switching setup that I put together. Last thing I want to say is a use that I've been thinking about. I haven't had a project. This is a solution looking for a problem at the moment, but I would love to do some bending on one of these. So I figure this is going to be a pretty shallow bend, but if you just take something as a form, in this case I'll take this piece of gaff tape, you can pretty easily bend that around there, and now you've got maybe the beginnings of a wearable, a cosplay project, some sort of a shoulder thing. Maybe you need a grid headband. I don't know. I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but very easy to do this. You could probably even roll this one out. You could also, you'll see it'll tend to bend in facets where the thinner metal is, so you still pretty much have flat planes to secure your microcontroller and other things too. So another case there where you can bend these to your will, pardon the pun, and make your mounting of your project very customized and specific to your needs. So let's see, can you unbend it? Yeah, not bad. Probably just roll that out against the roll of tape here a little bit. Sure. It'll probably be a little wonky from here on out, but not terrible. So easy to work with and pretty inexpensive. So as I said, these are on super discount right now during the show. We had, I think, 100 each of 2 of them, and maybe only 25. We were really low on a couple, so that's why some of these sold out very quickly. But it looks like, do we still have? Yeah, we still have some left of the 10x2s, the 10x5s, and the 10x10s. You can see we've got only 15 left of the 10x5. That's a great size. That's why I don't actually have a spare one, because I've probably gotten 4 or 5 of these, and I've put them into a bunch of projects already. I really love those. So let's see. Any questions over in the chat? Let me take a look. Todd wants to mount these to computer fan to make larger fan blades. Yeah, I'll say these probably are pretty useful for inside of PC cases if you need to screw little brackets to add other things you're trying to, like, hang fans in certain places. These are good general use. You know, pre-drilled aluminum is pretty useful. In fact, in the past, I used to use this what's called expanded metal material, which I can't remember what this one was for. I think this was like a mounting bracket for a speaker. But this kind of stuff I've used a lot in projects because, again, it's easy to bend, it's easy to curve, it's easy to drill. You got little starter holes all over the place. So I'm a big fan of this type of material for just general fabrication of solutions to your project problems. By the way, over in the chat, in Discord chat, Arachnophobia BattleBot said, perfect, I was just looking for a mounting solution for my hexapod. These will work perfectly, great timing. I'd love to see that. I'm sure a lot of us would love to see what you're up to with that hexapod BattleBot. I want to know more. Yeah, really good. This could be a really good platform for doing some small or large, I suppose, but small robotics stuff if you want to mount a motor and maybe something like a Cricut and Circuit Playground or Feather. That could be a nice one. Use it for Raspberry Pi projects as well. Squid.jpg said you can also use heat set insert on 3D printed parts to easily attach these to your 3D printed project. That's a great point. If you place holes of the right diameter in your 3D prints and then heat set brass inserts, screw through this, and bam, you've got a nice mounting solution for your 3D project. And I think that's it. Yeah. Any Gavin Bell, hello. Nice idea to curve them. Yeah, I think you could, honestly, you could almost make a watch band out of this. I think you could get a pretty nice, like a bracelet cuff type of thing out of this. I would just do it on a form of the appropriate diameter so that it's neater than if you just kind of hand do it with by eye. So. Of course, you can also, one other thing I want to mention, I haven't tried this yet, but I think with, let's say, you could make a cube out of these if you used 6 of them and some zip ties, or make it little 3D printed brackets, a clever use of just some nylon standoffs and zip ties. You can assemble 3-dimensional types of structures with these. So there's a lot of places you can. Oh, we got a picture. Okay, I'll check this out later. Everyone go check out Arachnophobia BattleBot there in the chat over in our Discord. And a reamer. Thank you, FreeDog632. I could not come up with the name of this. This is a reamer, and I think I had used one already on one, not on this one, but yeah, you can just go in if you need this to get up to, let's say, thread it onto a tripod or something like that, and you need a 1/4-inch hole on there. You can grab a reamer, maybe mark off with tape. It's really easy to just keep going way too far, so mark off with tape where you want to stop. Thank you for reminding me. I could not come up with that name. Okay, that I think is going to do it. So let's finish this thing up. So that right there is my product pick of the week this week. Let me get this thing out of the way. Where's the last one? Here it is. Okay, let's hold a whole bunch of these things. Those right there, those are my product picks of the week this week. They are aluminum swirly mounting grids. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week. I will see you soon.